turned it off and walked away.
Alright, I started streaming.
Oh.
And it looks like we are live. Hello!
Hello, Internet.
We are doing our rewatch of Game of Thrones. We're on
Season 5.
episodes 1 through 5, so the first half of Season 5. That's all I got. Andrew, introductions?
Hi, I'm Andrew.
I'm Mark.
I'm Kate. I'm not even poured.
We have no wine.
Oh my gosh, we were clearly underprepared for this one.
But hey, we were all sitting down in our seats and ready to go.
Right? Just nothing else was ready.
Alright, so...
Hey, we're waiting for drinks before we do the introduction.
I know.
Here we go.
We're going to go ahead and do a spoiler alert.
Yes.
Yes, we are discussing Season 5, but we might reference things that happen in Season 7 and whatnot. So if you have not watched Season 5 or Season 7, or come on, you should have watched all of it by now.
Get it together. We've been doing this for months.
If you haven't, then please stop. Go watch all 70-something hours of Game of Thrones and then come back to us.
Okay, Andrew.
Alright, so we are the Knights of the Drunk Watch.
And now our talk begins. Alright, let me find my notes. So, episode 1.
The wars to come.
The wars to come.
So this season started very interestingly because this was the creators, Dan and DB. Is that right?
DP and...
Yeah, the creators decided very early on that they were never going to use flashbacks to reveal any amount of story because there is a lot of history. But they kind of broke their rule and they start with the flashback of Cersei's childhood, where she goes to see the witch and she asks her, will I marry the king? Will I have children? And she says, 3 children you will have. Gold will be their crowns and gold will be their shrouds. And
we also get the total image that Cersei has not changed one bit. She's still just exactly Cersei. Just shut up. It's not scary. It's fine. I'm bored. Whatever.
So, I mean, it was one of those, she knew her entire life that eventually a younger, more beautiful queen would eventually come to replace her. And she also knew that all of her children would die.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you kind of knowing that, see how that motivates her throughout this entire story, knowing that she will eventually
lose all her kids. They didn't talk about the other part of it, which is the brother thing.
Yeah, apparently, Andrew, what does it say in the books?
I now don't remember.
Well, it's something about you will die at the hand of your younger brother or something.
Yeah, it says something like that. She would die at the hand of her younger brother, which she always assumed would be Tyrion.
Right.
But
Jaime's also her younger brother, technically.
Yeah, she was born first, so... But since they did not put that in there, then someone else might kill her, like Arya. Or
Anybody.
Or eaten by a dragon. I would not be against that.
She was real shook by those White Walkers, so she could get torn up by one of them.
Yeah, she had that
I would say it's possible, it makes perfect sense for that to be a red herring, and Jaime is the one who would kill her. But since they didn't include that prophecy, and they rewrote so much of his character, that he leaves her so much later than he does in the book.
Oh yeah, you don't think
it wouldn't matter? It wouldn't surprise me if they just kind of moved away from that trope to create something else.
I still like the idea, even though it's not in the show, and so it doesn't really matter. I do like the idea of Arya putting on a Jaime face and killing her.
Right.
Please.
That's one that I really,
that
really
might
like.
Be how they do it. It's let's take away any speculation about the prophecy, and let's just fulfill it, but in our way.
Yeah.
I would not be against that.
Except for would Jaime have to be dead? Then I don't like that idea at all.
Oh.
Andrew has a crush on Jaime.
Well, after watching this past 5 seasons, Jaime and Brienne just have to get back together.
That moment, I mean, I'm skipping ahead 4 episodes, but when he's on the boat and they go by Tarth and he's just like, oh, Tarth.
Oh, Tarth.
So, all right. So now Cersei and Jaime have the difficult position of Tywin was the seat of he was the thing of Lannister power, and without Tywin, like, they're kind of, oh crap, what do we do now? And of course Cersei is determined to have Tyrion killed even more so than before.
And she uses that funeral to do a major guilt trip on her brother.
Yeah, because Jaime set him free. Obviously, Jaime did not know he was going to go up into the Tower of the Hand and murder their father. Otherwise, he might not have done that.
Yeah.
But Tyrion is now in Pentos with a beard.
Yes, Tyrion hits bottom, as I said it.
Oh,
Yeah.
good lord. He, like, crawls out of the box, like, drinks the wine, pukes it up, and then just keeps drinking. But this is when Varys and Tyrion are now on their fun little adventure together. Varys introduces him to the idea of Daenerys becoming the new queen. He kind of reveals his plan all along was to replace Robert with...
To restore the Targaryen.
To restore the Targaryen line. Yep. I'm just going to keep talking unless anyone else has anything.
I will jump in. I did not take good notes on this one.
Yeah, I took sketchy notes for this episode. Tyrion's bottom is where I was. So.
All right, so, and then...
Okay, go ahead.
Well, and then we go to Marine, where we see that epically dramatic shot of them tearing down the Harpy off of the pyramid.
Ka-chunk, ka-chunk,
And
ka-chunk.
the Sons of the Harpy rebel.
Oh yeah, they are not happy, and they keep asking for Dany to open the fighting pits, which was a slave thing, and she's all no. And her and Dario have that scene together where she has her sex hair, and Dario's advice is to be the mother of dragons. Like, you know, the dragons have been hidden away. No one's seen them.
Yeah.
People are forgetting that.
She needs to use her power, power that she has.
He's saying that they need to do that. But she's afraid she can't control them. They're so huge now. They are so big now.
I want to know, like, how much time has passed. Because they get, like, when she, having just watched it, she just put them in there and they were, like, cow size, maybe. They were still, like, shorter than she, like, they were still her height. And we go back and they eat those people and they're huge.
Yeah, I'm trying to pay attention, and I may have missed it because I haven't gone back to my notes. I know it's twice I get a timestamp in my notes about how long. Well, first of all, it was a year since Marcilla had gone to Dorne at one point, and there was another timestamp I've now forgotten.
I mean,
but I haven't heard a timestamp lately. Like, oh, it's been so long since we did this.
It's hard to figure it out. I mean, it's certainly months are passing. I mean, this entire story so far has taken place over the course of several years.
Yeah,
but it's really hard to tell exactly how much time.
Which also, like, just thinking about it, this is one of the few times where I am worried about the timeline, which I think is like a solid attribute of Game of Thrones. Because in any other show, there'd be something where you're like, well, how the fuck did that happen? That rarely happens because you're just like, accept it. You're like, yep, enough time has passed for that. Until they start warping all over the fucking place.
Well, it also helps in normal stories when each season lasts a couple months and then you move on. If it could be like, oh, well, it was spring when she locked them up and now it's winter. And okay, well then most of the year has passed, but
it's winter always, so.
And so that's tricky.
What's next?
Well, I had a choker check, so he must have gone to the wall.
I swear she only doesn't have it on in the bathroom.
You're probably right.
That is the only time.
Even though I know it doesn't really mean anything, but
it means everything.
I love it. Melisandre's first question to Jon is, "Are you a virgin?"
Good.
He's like, he talks with Stannis. Stannis is talking about taking Winterfell, and he wants the wildlings to fight with him. And the Mance, they still have Mance.
Mance must kneel or burn.
And they kill Mance Raider.
This was, I mean, it was a good first episode of the season, but it wasn't like huge.
Yeah. Then we have like little Robin Aaron being a whiny bitch.
Okay.
Do we meet the High Sparrow in this episode?
Yeah. Not yet.
No, but we get introduced to the Sparrows.
Yeah.
Lancel has returned to King's Landing.
He's gone full native Sparrow.
Right.
And he's suddenly hot.
Because he cut off that wig was garbage.
Like all of a sudden he's hot. I'll drink for that. And he's all, I found religion. Blah, 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 blah. And
and Baelish received his marriage proposal.
Who did?
response.
Oh, right. Lawless.
oh yeah, he's plotting, and then he's taking Sansa. Sansa is kind of foolish at that for her to not realize what is happening.
Yeah.
It's like, where are we
She does pick up on
going?
him getting the message and kind of like tucking it away because in the next episode she asks him about it.
Yeah. Still.
But we don't know anything about what he's doing yet. We have Oliver is screwing Loras, and then Marjorie walks in,
Yeah.
which it will ultimately lead to their downfall.
Yep.
Well, and then I had my only comment from that scene, because I was just being sketchy earlier this week, was Marjorie has plans, ? So she says something during that scene that,
What something?
I don't know. Let me write down, Marjorie has plans.
Well, I mean, she is very much like everything she does with Tommen, and that's not this episode, but it's very much like, oh, well, your mother's kind of a bitch. Like,
I think her plan is to figure out a way for Tommen to convince Cersei to leave King's Landing, because she's just. I mean, they know Cersei and Loras aren't going to get married now because Tywin was the only one who would have forced her to do it. Now there's no one to tell her to do it, and well, that's about all I have for this episode. I mean, it was just kind of setting everything up so far.
yeah, I think we get into some more action later on in the episode. So let's move on. Episode 2.
Oh,
Oh,
see, there it is again.
well, except for we kind of jumped around because then I flipped the page and I have my notes about Varys rekindling the Targaryen.
We already said that.
I know, but I just want to quickly cover these notes to make sure we've covered everything. And we talked about the fighting pits being raised and the pissed off dragons. The one thing that I also took note is coming down to Mance gets burned.
yes.
Actually burned at the end of the episode. And just, comparing it to the book is Mance did not burn in the books.
That was the Bone guy.
It was the Bone King, because Mance was sent on a mission to save Arya, because the fake Arya was supposed to be marrying.
Oh, yeah, well, we don't need. They're not going that way, so we don't need to discuss.
Yeah.
that.
But no, yes, this is why I want to do this, is to discuss these things.
All
So
the
we're gonna
differences,
discuss
like all
them.
of the lots of differences.
Because also, well, just getting rid of Mance's character at this point, when it's not gotten rid of the books. Also, he doesn't have a child that needs to be saved.
I just feel like they didn't
we
really.
had the whole plot where his baby was switched
Yeah.
to Baby Sam, and they killed his baby Sam, and then Gilly had to take baby Mance off.
I just feel like they really watered Mance's character down in the series. Like there wasn't enough, especially like I love that actor too. So it just like we got him being like I won't kneel like 4 times, and then he got burned.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
All right, now we may move on.
All right, episode 2.
The House of Black and White. Arya arrives at Braavos. I love her look on the face. She is so unimpressed by the Titan of Braavos.
Yeah. My first comment was, how is Braavos not based on Venice? I mean, come on.
I wrote that too. Actually, a bit of back history on Braavos. I mean, it was one of the free cities because it was founded by a bunch of slaves who escaped from Valyria and stuff. So actually, their city remained hidden for several centuries.
Even with the big guy,
Well, I don't think they put that up until later.
Oh, okay.
I don't think they put him up there and it's like, shh, don't tell
find
anyone we're here.
us.
No, it was built. It was founded by slaves who were trying to escape Valyria.
So I don't think they talk about it in the show, but isn't that guy also a weapon? Because don't people go inside him and just drop shit out onto ships that they don't want to
I think
burn?
The boats have to go underneath them, so they would drop stuff from them.
I think
so cool.
his eyes are supposed to light up too.
And like, ooh, it's in like the Neverending Story with those big scary sphinxes. Wah. Okay.
And then before, just in case we're about to move on, so Arya is out of the house hanging out before she decides to wander around the city. She's going over her list, which is very short. The Hound is not on the list.
She took him off.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she assumes he's dead. Does he go back on the list?
I don't know. I don't think so.
It was a reunion.
No.
Because she could have killed him, but when she saw how he was there, when he was begging to be killed, she was like, nope, No, so I think she took him off of her list.
Well, but we also haven't heard her list.
He's going to die a horrible death.
I don't know if we've heard her list since that time where he was like, "Can you shut the fuck up?" And she was like, "I have to get through it before I can sleep." And the last name is the Hound. I think that's the last time we hear her list before this moment.
I mean, definitely her assumption is he's dead.
No, I don't. Even if it's not, I don't think she would put him back on the list because she did get to see that softer side of him and realize that
well, that would be a reason why he would not go back on. But she didn't take him off the list. I think until he died.
We don't know that. We don't know that.
I think if you had walked away from that man, do you expect he would have lived?
No, but we don't know that she hadn't been reciting that every night before and just dropped the Hound off a week ago.
I think this is the first time we've heard the list without the Hound. I can assume. I will assume.
You can assume. I am not going to assume.
I mean, I think if it was going to be her thinking different of him, we would have heard her.
We would have seen it
while he was alive.
Yeah.
And I think maybe when she has a reunion and she sees how far he's come, maybe we'll hear her list again and he won't be on it.
Yeah, even though she knows he's alive. I don't know.
Or she'll kill the last person on the list will die and she'll be like, "I'm done," and maybe he'll go, "What about me?" And she's like, "You were dead. Now you're back. So
you got a freebie. It's fine."
She's not gonna put him back on.
Then we get Brienne and Pod is like,
"Oh,
hey, that's Baelish. Hey, that's Sansa. Hang on." I mean, that's it. And then, she barrels in, ready the horses. We don't have horses. Podrick's the best. You can't fucking ride a horse.
He goes off the other way.
He just slow-mo falls off it too. And he's like, "Oh shit, no."
And Brienne is there doing her she doesn't know what else to do unless she's swearing oaths to serve people. She poor girl.
Well, that's all she's given herself to do in her life. If only Sansa said, "Yes, I'll go with you." Oh well.
I know. And then the second time she pledges her, she's just like, "Yep. What do I? I'll give you my knee. It's fine. Let's do it. It's fine." But yeah, I feel like Brienne is just oathing herself all over the place. Everyone's like, "No, I'm good.
I'm good.
I'm fine."
Well, because she also doesn't have a very good resume when it's "I was sworn to protect your mother," and Arya was
Baelish
"Why didn't you?"
Out. Well,
yeah,
but Baelish is "Who do you have?" Really? All right, dead. And Catelyn, dead. Okay, cool. And she lost a hand. All right, great. Sansa, does this sound cool to you? No? Okay.
But she doesn't give up, so she follows them north.
Yeah, and I like how she's just like, "Fuck it, Pod. I don't care. I'm sworn to Sansa, even if she doesn't know it. We're doing this."
Mm-hmm. And then we go to Cersei. She received a threat from Dorne.
Sand snakes.
Can we not waste time discussing?
I
fast forward through their scenes, but I just hate what's the Lannisters. We hate the Lannisters. Anyway.
So after that, my next comment is, "The smallness of Lawless's brain rivals the largeness of Stokeworth."
She is just da-da. Oh my gosh, but my favorite is when Bronn is like, "Why the fuck is Jaime here?" And Jaime is just basically sex posing on the wall.
And I'm like, man, the Jaime is so much hotter than Golden Army Jaime.
Fuck yeah. Well, because this is one of the first times that he's not wearing armor. I mean, when he was a prisoner, he was a hot mess. But, he's got his leather. Anywho.
Okay, everyone fucking drink, and then we can move on.
Okay. And so real quick, in terms of comparing it with the books, I guess we didn't have a whole lot of Doran's daughter in the book, other than that one episode. But Ilaria, I guess, is basically taking her place.
Okay.
For better or worse.
Mm-hmm.
Just in case we ever have books to read, we'll know what we're reading.
Great.
I'm gonna have to reread all the books before I can read the last one again. Dario captures Sons of the Harpy, and Daenerys is torn on whether or not to execute them or show mercy.
And this is her problem. It's because they talk about, she's not a ruler, she's a conqueror. And it's how does a conqueror judge? Because as a conqueror, you can just burn the shit out of everybody.
Yeah.
As a ruler,
you have to do something a little more diplomatic.
Okay, and well, I want to keep talking about Danny, but if I skip ahead to the last scene,
No,
Andrew's
let's
going
skip
to get
ahead and then we can
confused.
go back.
No, I mean, I'll just go back. That's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, so she doesn't know whether to kill them or not, and then
someone's like, I know.
the slave boy comes forward, and he...
What is a queen to do?
And he kills her, or not her, sorry, he kills...
Him.
One of the harpy people.
Yeah, the harpy that they caught.
Okay, then I think this is where Danny fucked up. She brought him out, and I mean, because he did what pretty much she told him to do. Because when they took the city, remember, they wrote "kill the masters" all over the place. So they killed the masters, and that's how Danny took the city. So now he's like, I'm just doing what I thought we were supposed to do. I killed the master. And he did it for her. I mean, and she... Instead of imprisoning him, instead of putting him on trial or whatever, or just, like Dario says, should have just beheaded him in the pyramid and been done with it. She takes him out, publicly executes him, slave.
Do you think because like the crowd was calling for mercy, do you think that would have been a good choice for her to like acknowledge their cries and give him mercy?
And say, yes, okay, I will give him mercy. And then say, but this is your last warning. Just say, like, do not do this again. But because, well, the moment she had him killed, that was when the people really began to turn on her.
They start hissing at her.
Yeah, I think it definitely would have made a difference. But she's also not the first character in this season who has to deal with the quality of mercy.
Yeah.
And and it seems like that Danny never learns. At least till now, she's never really learned the quality of mercy.
What do you like? How to give mercy?
Well, because later in season 7, when we come up with the Tarleys,
oh yeah,
there's no mercy there.
And
she's advised to be merciful, and she's like, "Fuck it."
Yeah.
Yep. And also, very interesting happened. So, Drogon reappears.
She had a bad day and he showed up.
It was, see, wherever Drogon was, like, this is where, like, she's beginning to really connect with him. Well, I mean, she's been connected with him the whole time.
But he doesn't let her give her snuggles. He doesn't let her give him snuggles.
Well, because, what it was is, I think, he sensed that she was in trouble. Because when they were trying to get her out of the crowd, like, they were full on, like, shields around the queen, get her out of here.
They're throwing rocks and shit.
Yeah, because, like, I think he sensed she was in trouble. He came, he looked down, and he's like,
"You're cool?
You're fine. All right, bye."
Bye.
And then apparently goes off to Valyria. Because, you won't see him again until her life is in danger once more.
Right.
Oh. She sends off, like,
so, okay.
I'm going to be murdered pheromones. And he's like, okay.
If I jump back too much, I apologize. But I'd say The Road to Volantis is the worst Crosby Hope movie I've ever seen.
Well, it's just like, I literally just wrote Tyrion and Varys have a scene. Because that's all it is just
they're
like,
traveling.
I kept calling it The Road to Volantis, so it reminds me of, like, The Road to Bali, and, the Crosby Hope films. I'm like, The Road to Volantis is just the worst
one. It's where the franchise took a turn.
Well, thank God they travel a bit quicker in this, because in the book, Tyrion spends the entire book just traveling, and he doesn't actually meet Daenerys.
Well, but it's like traveling in a palanquin and traveling in a
Well, yeah, I know. He's traveling across the world. I know. We're not to the seasons yet where people can teleport across the world. Cersei is...
Oh, so we get skeptical Uncle Kevin. Skeptical Uncle Kevin is just like, I'm liking him, because he's like, I don't know about this. You're not the king. Like, I'm out.
She's trying to take control of the small council. Well, not really. She's like, oh no, I'm just advising my son. But she's trying to run everything now. Oh, and poor Mace Tyrell. Like, he's the bubbly little guy. He's so like, oh.
They cast him so well, though, because you just look at him and you're like, oh.
And it's like, they make him master coin, and then she's like, oh, by the way, we're going to make you master of ships as well.
And he's so, oh, thank you.
And he's like, oh, how does he have time to do
Qyburn is so fucking creepy. Just that whole time.
He's the new master of whispers.
I think it's important to mention that Shireen gives Gilly true power by teaching her to read.
Yep.
And
she teaches everyone to read.
Well, people who need to know now know how to read. And then Gilly takes time to describe grayscale, and it just, I feel like there's got to be a big payoff to this grayscale thing for not just to be an element of the book, but they really spend time on this thing. And they give it to since they cut the character that gets it. They
Have
give
we
it to another character.
Jorah interact with the dragon?
Not.
Really. I mean, he's near them, but he never actually interacts with them.
Because it'd be, but we did see him interact with White Walkers, and he had no special powers against them. I just wonder if I want the being cured of grayscale to be an inoculation for something else.
Right. I mean, it's just that they spend so much time on it just for it to be a filigree, a decoration on the story.
Well, also because when Jorah and Tyrion are in Valyria and they meet the Stone Men and stuff, they already have it explained what is up with them.
Right, but again, we're spending a lot of time on this.
I think you're thinking too much into it.
I think when you tell stories like this, that you don't spend all this time on something superfluous.
Although
can we talk about the sand snakes?
Well, that too, but
I
also
don't think they think they're superfluous.
I also don't feel like. I feel like if they had left grayscale out of the whole series, people would have been like, "The fuck? Why was that in the books?" If we're, So I think it could be like.
I think
it could be a fucking.
They could have also just have been Shireen's disease. They go through Valyria, so we're attacked by the Stone Men. But why does Jorah have to get it? Why does Jorah have to be cured of it?
So we can exile
for
him again
plot.
And feel bad. Yeah, for plot. For
conflict. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe it's false conflict. I don't know.
Well,
I guess we'll know by the summer.
They got to fill up episodes.
So then we have Stannis and Jon.
We have. Yeah. Oh yes, yeah. This is where it comes up, I think. Go ahead.
What?
I mean, that's it. So Stannis
what comes up?
The first mention of Lyanna Mormont.
Oh, well,
She's the first Stannis for a Stark to,
Stannis wants to make Jon Lord of Winterfell because he wants. Because actually, I think Stannis understands the power of the Stark name, and it's like if we are going to unite the North, we need a Stark to do it. So he wants to make Jon Lord of Winterfell, but Jon's like, no, I swore my vows. And nothing bad is going to happen for me staying here with the Night's Watch.
But, it's the first mention of Lyanna who calls for a Stark. She won't accept Bolton.
And even, I wish we had known at this moment how awesome she would be. Because even that little note is like, nah.
Yeah.
Basically, she's like, no. No.
And also, because I paid attention to this for Adi. So, Adi, if you're watching.
She is. She already commented on our video.
I saw the comment. I'm assuming she's still there. So, based on the voting, Jon is the 999th Lord Commander of the Night's Watch.
Okay.
Because they said Mormont was 998.
Okay.
And there's she makes a big deal of Craster having 99 sons.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, no.
Or does he get it 1,000? 100.
I think the son we saw taken by the guy into this baby we saw carried off and taken into that thing is the 100th. I think Sam is 99.
So then the one who follows the Lord Commander who follows Jon
will be the
1,000th Lord Commander. So that's for Adi to obsess over.
Enjoy your numbers, Adi.
I mean, it's
and that ends our segment of numbers with Game of Thrones.
Numbers, playing with numbers. I don't know what they mean, but Adi focuses on them. So that's for
all right. So then we have Arya. She finally gets into the House of Black and White. So
I really wish that guy didn't show up.
Jaqen
kick those guys' asses.
Right? I wanted to see that. So the actor, some of the book fans got upset because the actor who played Jaqen Hagar is now the guy who was teaching her stuff. Obviously, in the books, he's just the man.
Right.
But the creators brought the actor back because he was well liked. So
we liked him, yeah.
So did they say that specifically? Because I also say we haven't gotten to end of her training. He could be Jaqen Hagar, and we just don't know yet, book-wise, But they just dealt with it up front. But you say that they said, no, we wanted him back.
Yeah, they just wanted the actor back. And, I mean, honestly, did we want the hot guy to come back, or did we want that old weird guy from the first one?
Book, yeah.
Oh, yeah. And, I mean, the first guy she met at the House of Black and White, he kind of looked like a fish. like one of those blobfishes with the big. I'm like, he did. So
anyway, so she finally gets to go inside. Yay! And then we already talked about the end of the episode. That's when Drogon comes. So.
Man, we're booking it through these. Episode 3?
Well, because not too much is happening yet. It's still because this is the beginning of the book. So.
Now the High Sparrow.
High Sparrow. Okay, so it starts with Arya inside, sweeping floors, and she's all.
Did the waif show up yet?
The waif walks.
I remember yelling at the waif.
Stupid
and the many faces of the one god are the faces of all the gods. Including there's like a flaming heart, so they include the Lord of the Light.
Yeah, they have all of the gods there. They don't discriminate.
Tom and Marjorie
are married.
They get down.
Marjorie finally consummates a marriage. Yay.
A marriage.
She's officially married. She's officially not a virgin.
Tommen turns out loves sex.
Loves it.
He's like, wow, that was fun. Let's do that
all the time. Forever.
I think Tommen and Marjorie would have made a great king and queen had Cersei not interfered. Once Tommen grew up, What?
Okay, you continue.
No, I'm saying no. If Tommen was given a chance to learn, if he actually had someone teaching him how, I think they would have done okay compared to all of the other rulers. Oh, that's my time.
I think Marjorie would have gotten corrupted. I think, even if it was just by her want for power, I think she could have gone Cersei real quick.
Okay.
I think Tommen, I think you are right.
I'm not disagreeing with you.
think Tommen could be a great king. A kind and benevolent king who would listen to his advisors and surround himself because of what Tywin told him as, to be a good king, you need wisdom. But Marjorie, in this first scene, Marjorie's already, planting seeds. Yeah, working angles and, talking about Cersei.
But she's working against Cersei, and I wrote down that she and Cersei are playing a new Game of Thrones because they're both vying for control of Tommen.
Yeah.
I think, if Cersei was out of the picture and Marjorie was queen, she would have everything she wanted. I think she would be... She would have achieved her goals, and the question is how much she could have influenced and corrupted Tommen.
I will accept that it is 50-50. She could break bad real quick, or she could just be continuing to play a gentle game where she vies for her family to be, better off than every other family, but she's still working.
Gone away and Tommen has his advisors. I think as long as the advisors weren't working against her own interests, she would have leave it alone.
Yeah, I can see that.
So
okay, I'm somewhat sold.
Well, it doesn't matter because we'll never know.
No spoilers. Oh, Tommen. And then we also have because Marjorie's angle is send your mom to Casterly Rock. She's not happy here.
Yeah, she's
never been happy here. And then Cersei's
I'm happy where you
and
are.
then so we kind of get this. I think in this moment, because this next scene very, very much seems like Cersei is a little shook. I don't know if she's just doing a very good job of acting it, but when she comes to see Marjorie, she's Marjorie's oh, and then he wanted to go all night long and just talking.
She just throws insult after insult without
and Cersei
directly insulting
continues to just kind of be okay, but if there's anything you need, she manages. It never sounds catty. It almost sounds like Cersei's afraid because in the previous scene, Tommen's Marjorie says I should send you away, so I'm thinking I should send you away, and she realizes the power that Mark.
I think Cersei. Olive branch may be too strong of a phrase, but I think Cersei's kind of acknowledging that if they could work together, it would be better. But Marjorie just has no interest. So
because Cersei has not had a great track
No.
record of being a good buddy.
Because remember she said to her,
sweet in that pod, did she?
It's she said to her earlier, she's if you ever call me sister again, I'll have you strangled in your sleep. And it's okay, well, that's probably Marjorie was we need to get Cersei out of here.
But also, there is another scene where, it's the scene, the last time where Cersei kind of seemed like she was being a legitimate, let me try and get, Marjorie is a pretty good piece to have in this puzzle. So she should marry Tommen, and they have that. Maybe it's at Joffrey's funeral or something.
It's when Tommen was crowned.
Oh yes, and they're having this conversation about it, and and like, you know, oh, I'll have to talk to my father, da 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 da. And then Marjorie does the same thing, where at the end she's like, would that make us mother or sister? I don't know. Like, she says, it's like, damn, girl, like, just you don't have to. Oh my goodness. So she's doing that again, where she's just like, they have a cordial conversation, and Marjorie's like, by the way, your son likes to bone. Like, you didn't need that last part.
Then we have the Boltons make Winterfell their home.
Yes.
And Roose Bolton is pretty much saying, yeah, it's like he knows that now they have to secure the North on their own, because without Tywin backing him, you know, Ramsay's all like, oh, we have the Lannisters backing. It's like, no, the Lannisters are never going to send armies up here to help us take the North.
Yeah, and that was Tywin. The others don't care.
Yeah. Well, because as far as most everyone in the South is, they're like, well, whatever happens up there, whatever. It's like people in the States worrying about what's happening up in Canada.
They're fine.
They're fine.
They're doing better than we are, so...
and then Sansa learns of Littlefinger's plot to marry her to Ramsay.
Yes. And I think this is where Baelish plants the seed of Ramsay's demise, because he plants the seed of vengeance into Sansa's head.
Yes.
You know?
Well, because he's talking to her, like, I think Littlefinger honestly thought that Stannis would come to Winterfell, retake it, defeat the Boltons, and make Sansa wardeness of North.
He totally underestimated and misunderstood who Ramsay is.
Understood.
Misunderstood isn't either. He just like,
I get what you're saying.
Yeah,
that's
he
good.
You know, I think he
underestimated.
How crazy Ramsay is.
I guess no little birds were telling him about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, because he thought, well, Roose Bolton was still in charge and stuff, and Roose, sure, he might have killed Robb, but Roose understands the importance of Sansa, so we're like, well, we can't hurt her, and blah, 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 but he has no idea how crazy Ramsay is.
So fucking crazy.
Anyway, Brienne and Podrick bond by sharing stories.
We discover how Brienne was her backstory.
I love it when he's, like, talking about Renly, he's like, you know, Renly, yes, Podrick, I know he liked men. But she agrees to teach Podrick to fight. Finally teaching some useful skills. I mean, might as well. I mean, what else do? They wake up every morning like, okay, let's go sit here and stare at the castle that Sansa is sitting in.
Yeah.
Well, and I mean, I think one thing, I don't know, when did they have the conversation? Have they already had the conversation when she asked how Podrick saved Tyrion in the Battle of the Blackwater?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, like, she's been taking her measure of him for a while, and it's like, he's not just some little pissant lordling. You know, he's brave, he's loyal, he just has no skill.
He just
Except
has
in bed, apparently.
No, and, like, and they address that early of, like, when he sets the rabbit on fire, she's like, what are you doing? He's like, I've really only had to pour wine and take messages. Like,
it's like,
that's all I've done.
Well, because when you're living in the castle, it's like, yeah, they have cooks that cook the food for you. He just has to bring the food from the kitchen to Tyrion. So, John... Oh! Did we mention in the last episode, John became Lord Commander?
I think we mentioned in passing when he was talking about how John was the 999.
Okay. Oh, yeah. So we did. So, John officially refuses Stannis' offer to become a legitimized Stark.
Yeah. And my note is, how can Ollie betray John after he turns down Stannis?
Oh.
Because Ollie's the fucking worst,
Exactly.
Fucking Ollie!
Fucking Ollie!
I need more wine.
Okay, I got you, bud. And then we get the fucking wave.
John kind of gets his cake and eats it too, because he remains loyal to the Night's Watch. Then he gets killed, and he's like, oh, now I get to be Lord of the Winterfell.
Yeah, bye.
Yeah. He's like, I fulfilled my vows. And then this is when he starts giving out assignments, and he tries to send Jaina Slint to Greyguard, which. Never mind, I'm not going to go there. That's too much. But Janos refuses, and it's like, this is John's moment to be like, if I let him walk all over me, no one's going to take me seriously. So he does what he needs to do.
Good. Like, Janos was a whiny little bitch, so
yes, we're glad to be rid of him.
So even Alistair was kind of like, you're gone, bitch. You annoy me.
Yeah.
Well, and I also like that moment of John, like, he could have been a petty person and made Alistair the king of the latrines. But then he switched it, like, he was like, looking, I'm gonna give it to the ginger. Sounds like a good job for the ginger. The ginger's like, you got me. Where Alistair would have just been like daggers.
He had a moment. But no, he made Alistair first ranger, which is...
Well, it's a big fucking deal.
Yeah, that's what he's suited for. That's what... I mean, because as much as he might dislike Alistair, like, he is one of the best men that they have.
That's fine.
And also in beheading Janos Slint, again, a main character is faced with the chance for mercy. After all that big show, could he have not chopped his head off?
Yeah.
And said... Okay, but you're out of here. You're going off to that crappy place and rebuild.
But with everyone there on the watch, it's like, well, they're there until they die, so they're eventually going to give their life up to the watch anyway. Whatever.
We get we interact with the Waif for the first time.
Yeah, we kind of skipped over.
But that's fine.
Arya giving herself up. And I said, why couldn't she have given the silver to the poor? She had to throw the money in the fucking bag.
Jesus.
Yeah, and then
Wait, no, we haven't skipped over. That's where we are right now.
Yeah, we skipped over that.
We skipped over to talk about Janos Slint.
And Janos.
No, that's...
No, it doesn't.
Janos Slint doesn't die until after.
Okay, whatever.
Listen. And he didn't talk about us skipping ahead, and now you're like, no, it's... we can't win. No, yeah, but Arya and the Waif...
No, I'm just...
Smack.
Oh, gosh. So, she has that... Jaqen, we're just gonna keep calling him that, even the faceless man, whatever, that guy, he's like, what is a girl doing here with Arya Stark's things? So she has to get rid of her things, which I'm sure Maisie Williams was absolutely thrilled to take off that same costume that she's been wearing for 3 full seasons and toss it into the river. But she refuses to throw away Needle. That is probably one of the saddest, that's one of the only times that Arya actually breaks down crying.
When else does she cry now?
Well, she had some tears on her face during the Red Wedding, but, like, we never actually see her just, like, break down crying. But that's the only time she really just, like, breaks down crying. And very smartly, she does not throw it away. Instead, she hides Needle.
It's her plan B.
Yeah.
Yes. Always have a plan B. Now she gets to wash dead bodies.
Cool.
Yes. Oh, and so the Waif's resentment of Arya is clearly her failure. And I wonder if, like, every person, like, their test, it seems like the Arya is the Waif's test, and she fails, right?
Yeah.
But, like, if Arya had kept going, would she had to have taken charge of the lower one? And, but the Waif is, like, jealous of her instead of, like, bringing her up along with everything else,
But this is just like Alistair and John. There's another just, like, random person who's like, oh, fuck you. Instantly. Just instantly. Like, what did Arya do? Like, Arya isn't even fighting boys in the yard team very well.
I love it when she showed up and she just, like, smacks her and Arya's like, cunt! That's what we're all thinking.
Sansa gets to Winterfell.
Sansa returns home.
In a very, very awkward reunion.
And begins her road through hell.
Yes.
Littlefinger and Bolton,
No, we have the High Septon and the Sparrows, that whole thing.
The High Septon takes the first walk of shame.
Yep.
Oh, yes, he's whipped naked through the streets.
And we meet the High Sparrow.
For once, Baron Trant is right.
The Lord of Monologues.
Oh, good Lord.
We're about to enter that era of the show.
Yes. So many monologues. But bravo to Jonathan
I'm
Pryce. He's great.
Monologues now because I haven't rewatched these seasons.
Andrew's just taking furious notes.
I'm like,
I've never heard any of this before.
I have new notebooks all day.
Right, and Cersei. So actually, like, in the books, this is the first time that we start getting point of view chapters from Cersei. And she goes to meet, the High Septon, or not the High Septon, I'm sorry, the High Sparrow and stuff, and she thinks she's making an ally to help her take down the Tyrells, but, poor Cersei, she has no idea what she's doing.
See, I think she fails to recognize fanaticism and mistakes it for ambition.
Audie says Team Alistair, and I would just like to say what the fuck.
Yeah, whatever.
Okay, great. I would just like to acknowledge that and move on.
But yeah, well, she just meets him right now. She doesn't do anything yet. We just meet him and whatnot. Tyrion and Varys arrive in Volantis. And
first Tyrion goes a little batshit. He's like, I need to see a face that's not yours. I need to get out of this wheelhouse.
Oh, and they have their little matching outfits.
Yes.
I love it.
He puts on a hood. He's like, look, I'm just a drunk George. Let's go.
Real quick, before we talk about that.
What'd we skip?
We finally have the scene, because we talked about this and people seem to remember it, but this is where we have the scene where Sansa's marriage to Tyrion is dissolved.
Oh,
due to
yeah.
lack of consummation.
Yeah.
So we're always like, is Sansa still married to Tyrion? We never really knew. But now, at least in the show, it's definitely never consummated, so it's not official.
Yes. I thought it was just because they assumed Tyrion was dead,
No.
Whatever.
No.
There's not really...
And Cersei contacts Baelish. We also have...
That's what I was trying to say, and then y'all cut me off.
Well, okay. Well, you could have fought for it and gone back, but...
All right, let's go.
Okay, so Roose Bolton is not an idiot. He knows Littlefinger is playing both sides. That's why when a Raven arrived
he reads it.
for Baelish, because he's like, oh, this was sent to the Eyrie. Clearly, she doesn't know you're here. And he's like, I read the letter, and I want to read your reply.
Yeah. Roose ain't no dummy.
Right? It's, oh, that's all I have for that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then...
But we have, we also, in Volantis, there's, red priestesses spreading the word of the Mother of Dragons.
And Tyrion keeps making little quips, and then she,
Yeah, and she sees him, and she's like, I see you, I know who you are. And they have the, probably one of...
The Dany whore?
Yes, the Dany whore. I was trying to think of, probably, the sexy cosplay version of Dany.
Oh, and I was looking
This is what you get at Party City if you want to dress up like Dany. Or maybe like Cindy's.
I was looking
Yes, Cindy's.
I was looking at the Red Priestess on IMDb because I recognized her, turns out, from Arrow. But,
that makes sense.
One thing I want to say about them in general, I say it more about Melisandre later, but clearly these priestesses have real power. She looks Tyrion straight in the face. It's not an accident, right? And then later on we'll talk about Melisandre. But then, just a side note about Queen Dany in the whorehouse, she is also the faceless god, or the old that has the hair. It's the same actor.
That's funny. The stranger.
The stranger. She also happens to be the stranger when the High
Septon's trying to figure always the maid.
Yeah, and then Jorah captures Tyrion, and he's like, I'm taking you to the queen.
Oh, well, we get the moment where Tyrion almost charms himself into a free fuck, and then he's like,
right.
Oh, nope. Can't do it.
Oh, and
Oops.
her I recognize.
No, that was not going to be free.
I don't think it was going to be free.
I think because he said he had no money and he could repay her, and she was finally like, well...
Did he?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
If you say so. Okay.
She finally was like, well, and he used the same phrase, isn't someone who can make a woman laugh, richer than all the gold. He uses a lot of lines, and finally she's like, fine, but we'll have to baby first.
Right. But he's weary of whores.
No, he can't do it.
I recognize
his heart won't let him.
This time because she, just side note, because Mark didn't really watch it. I watched it. She's on Dr. Thorne, which is an Amazon show. So
I just spilled wine on myself, so that's fine.
But yeah, and Tyrion gets captured by Jorah.
Tyrion likes pissing off walls.
Yes.
Well,
I was a little annoyed they threw that cup. I'm like, that cup
Yeah,
has value.
come on,
Come
Jesus. All right, episode 4.
Sons of the Harpy.
The Harpy.
Jimmy and Braun sailing to Dorne. They eat a snake and fight some Dornish soldiers. Yay, very exciting.
Great, yeah.
All right, so this is... Oh, now, Cersei...
We do get a moment where Jaime says that he's going to kill Tyrion because he killed their father.
Yes. Well, now, my first note was about Tyrion and Jorah. Did they start the episode?
Yeah, Jorah punches a dude, steals the boat, and throws Tyrion and they go.
They're just traveling.
Well, but I mean, I just had written the note because I have one problem with this aspect of the story is that Tyrion was... I don't know why. This is just me. It bugs me that Tyrion was on his way to Daenerys, and then he gets kidnapped to be taken to Daenerys.
Well, but
and
he
then
even
they kind of
makes
address
that,
it later too. But at this moment, I'm like, I don't know if I, I mean, so I'm glad when he makes a joke about it later. It's like, okay, I'm not the only
they acknowledge
one.
it.
Okay.
But back to Jaime and seeing his true love's home.
Oh yeah.
What?
Oh, sailing
That's where
past
he
Tarth.
sees-
Tarth. I forgot about that because I already mentioned it. Yeah.
But then he has to save Marcella to get Cersei back, so he's very conflicted.
When they talk about how they want to die, he says he wants to die in the arms of the woman he loves.
Oh no,
So if he does die, he better be in Brienne's arms. That's all I'm saying.
I understand the Jamie-ness of it. I am voting
Jamie
for
and
the
Brienne are
Jamie,
not
Brienne, Tormund three-way. Like that's what I am. Like if they ended it
yes,
that way.
and by
Jaime
the Jamie,
dies.
Brienne, Tormund three-way, that means Jamie and Tormund with Brienne sitting aside watching.
No.
It's like where Jaime dies in Brienne's arms, and then Tormund comes up and goes,
Let me
"I
comfort
got
you."
Yes. It's my turn now.
No, but I do love when Bronn and Tyrion are the only ones that would ever dare do this to Jaime's. Whenever they...
Your niece?
Yeah, he's like, your niece? And I love that face that Jaime gets. He's like...
He's just like, fuck you.
He is like, fuck, like, everyone knows, but, he's never flat out admitted it just out loud.
Renly. It was a...
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
I couldn't come up with a better term, so I just...
Okay. All right.
But going real back quick to what you said, Kate, about even though they didn't have the deadly parting in the book that Jaime and Tyrion have, when Tyrion just false confesses to his son's murder, to what's-his-face's Joffrey's murder.
Yeah.
His murder of Tywin is enough to make Jaime at least angry enough to be murderous of him.
Yeah.
That was an element that was missing in a way, but they snuck it back in. Okay.
Cool. Great.
Okay.
We get some business stuff where they send Tyrell away.
Well, see,
and
this...
to get Mirren Trant to Bravos.
Mm-hmm.
This is finally... Are y'all done?
Snap shot. Okay, we're done.
Okay, so they're finally bringing up the how much the Iron Throne owes the Iron Bank. Everyone's iron. It's so weird. And then there's the Ironborn, but they're actually fish people.
They're mermaids.
Krakens. No, mermaids are the harpies.
Interesting.
Never mind. I'm rambling. I'm
Irrelevant.
sorry. You're irrelevant.
Woof. Iron Bank.
Iron Bank.
Fuck Mace Tyrell. Goodbye.
Right? I mean,
couldn't they killed him?
You assigned.
And also, he's such a little dipshit that he's like,
He's
oh,
a member of the Kingsguard is going with me. Good lord, but they just gave Mace all of these jobs, you're Master of Coin, you're Master of Ships, but now we're gonna send you away. Who the hell is running the country?
Cersei, and Cersei only when they make the comment of is it Qyburn who says the small council is getting smaller every day, and she says not small enough?
No, not Qyburn. It's
Pycelle said that, and she's not small enough.
And his face is just he just got here, so he's good. Qyburn's fine. I'm fucked as the only other person at this table.
She has hated Pycelle for years. She's been just waiting for a chance to take him out.
We get a bunch of Sparrow murder next.
Yeah, Cersei goes
oh,
after Loras
gosh.
and the monsters.
So she goes and speaks with the High Sparrow again, and she restores power to the Faith Militant, and to do as they see fit to serve the gods. Now, actually, side note on history, the Faith Militant lost their power back when Maegor the Cruel he was a Targaryen king, and he got pissed off that the High Sept would not let him marry his sister. So he got on his dragon and burned the Sept down and got rid of the Faith Militant. Anyway, so now she gives him power. And
foreshadowing.
Yes. So, like I was saying, like in the books with Cersei's point of view chapters, when she does this, when she gives them their power back, she thinks she's taking down the Tyrells, and she leaves that meeting going in her head, I am so smart. I'm such a better... She's like, I'm such a better ruler than my father ever was. I am the best ruler there is. Yep. She doesn't realize she's like nailing her own coffin.
And it's interesting. I find that this whole section of the story, especially in the books, is very Henry VIII. Like, if you watch the Showtime series, it's like with the fanatics going after the faithless and giving the power. You think you're giving power to someone who's going to help you, and then it comes around and bites you in the ass. And,
we see. I like this next scene with Marjorie and Tommen because like Marjorie comes in so hot and so pissed, and then like she realizes there's a beat where she's like, "Oh, hang on, I have to play this a different way."
Yeah.
I have to play this a different way, and so then she like sits down and she's like, oh, it's just so stressful.
My poor brother.
I'm so sad. Like,
but poor Tommen, he's so naive. Like, he's just in there eating. Like, he's just like, what? What happened? What do I do?
Well, I feel like he is probably at this point the epitome of pussy whipped. Like, he is just like anything for this goddess who gives me the thing called sex. Like,
but then he finds out when he's like, wait, are you gonna come back later? I need to be with my family. It's like, oh, poor Tom is not getting sex tonight.
Because she's withholding because she's using that power.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and I want to say the previous scene when they were like sacking the brothels and arresting Loras and stuff, the most tragic...
They spill so much beer.
They spilled Was it beer? I thought it was wine.
Ale. It was ale. It was
They spilled all the booze.
They spilled all the booze.
It wasn't wine. I'll just put it that way.
No, yeah.
Okay.
It was brown. I hope it wasn't wine.
All right, and then we go back to the wall. Melisandre is insisting to Stannis that they take Shireen. Oh, wait, no, sorry. Melisandre's insisting that Stannis take... Wait, no, sorry. Let me rephrase that.
What are you doing?
Melisandre is telling Stannis that she needs to go to Winterfell with him. She's doing the whole, you lost the Battle of Blackwater because I wasn't there. You need to take me... It's like she still believes that Stannis is the rightful king, and then she goes to Jon and shows him her boobies.
Yes, sex fixes everything for the Lord of Light.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
He becomes very entranced. He's just getting a different angle because we're fabulous, I guess.
And she pulls out as she leaves the room. She does the "you know nothing," Jon Snow look.
And this is where I made the note that Melisandre clearly has real power. I mean, she didn't just pull that out of her ass, right?
No.
And it's like, why is she such a hot mess? Why is she wrong about everything, left and right? You know.
I still maintain that she misinterpreted her visions.
Yeah.
But everything that she had Stannis do ultimately led her to Jon.
Yes.
I think that's what the visions and the flames were telling her.
And I think she needs to learn a new bedside manner on how to get her shit done. Because it's you, buddy. It's you, buddy. Oh, no, it wasn't you, but it was supposed to be him. So, but we're here, so great. It's him.
Yeah.
I also at this point wrote down that there's so many hot messes vying for the throne. Stannis is like, can I have it? Stannis is a hot mess.
No, but then afterwards they have Shireen having a pleasant moment with her dad. Now, as far as we know, that like this did not happen in the books. What like happens to Shireen? I mean, as far as we know, I think I don't recall. But watching the show for the first time, I remember thinking, oh God, they're giving a pleasant moment with her dad. Like, that guy never has pleasant moments.
It's very pointed.
I was like, oh God, something bad is going to happen to her, or him, or all of them. I knew that.
Yeah, it's really setting us up for when he puts her on the stage.
He's being uncharacteristically sweet.
We gave spoiler alerts at the beginning. We're professionals.
Yeah.
Are we having Shireen steak for dinner tonight?
Yes.
Shireen kebabs?
And then Sansa's in the Winterfell crypt.
So
she picks up that feather. That was what Robert laid on the hand.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because they even did a preview of that at the beginning of this episode.
Okay. I did watch the previews, but I didn't remember that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we also see the feather in the crypts of Winterfell.
In the teaser.
In the teaser, yeah,
right.
the feather flies
That's
off.
why I made note of it.
Which,
I was like, we've been talking about this feather.
I didn't see her put it back on those hands, so I am skeptical.
Well, and then, it's there because they're slowly bringing back the idea of Lyanna Stark, and, she does the whole, then Rhaegar kidnapped and raped her and stuff.
And then Baelish kind of goes, maybe
Baelish,
not.
then, no.
A little maybe not look.
No,
maybe not look.
I call this the look that would inspire 1,000 memes.
Yeah, I was just like, Baelish knows Lyanna.
Oh my gosh, the internet blew up after that scene aired because back then it was still the R plus L equals J theory was going on, that we were all guessing Jon's true heritage, but no one knew for certain yet. But when he did that look, the internet blew up.
Peter's plan for her is so fucking stupid. Of like, oh no, it's fine. I'll be back before anything bad happens to you, and if not, just take control of him. It's like,
Well, he has been. I mean, she has been for once kind of showing
stepping
that
it up
she's
a
been
little bit,
taking notes. But
she's yes, because she does have moments where she kind of speaks out about it, but she's still trying to stay calm and not do anything stupid or rash.
Well, and this is where I made the note that Baelish misjudges Ramsay, because I think part of it is that
understands him.
What?
He understands him.
He understands him. The word was misjudges. I did write it down at one point. He understands him, and because also I think the number of options are beginning to decline, because I think Baelish is always trying to...
Baelish might be scrambling a little bit.
Well, because he's always trying to maneuver himself so that whoever wins, he's like, yep, I'm behind you,
Well, because he's on his... Yeah, he's on his way down to see Cersei and be like, I'm totally on your side.
To put those fires out.
Right. But I think
he's
there's
playing the
fewer
ultimate
options,
game of like
there are fewer
pop-up
options
hedgehogs.
to maneuver.
What
He's
is that
eventually
called?
going to get paid.
Whack-a-mole.
He's going to get paid.
Whack-a-mole.
Whack-a-mole.
I just called him pop-up hedgehogs.
I want to see a whack-a-mole with little Cersei and Roose Bolton. But as he has fewer options to kind of like be behind at the right moment, he's eventually going to get stuck behind.
Well, especially if he keeps being literally behind them, like he's in the north, he's in the south. He's just like,
Well, see, and also because it's getting to the point now, like a lot more people are kind of figuring out his game. Like, Sansa knows it, and Roose knows it, and Cersei is.
But he put too much stake in. Everything will be okay with the Boltons. Stannis will fix it, or I'll come back and fix it. It'll be fixed.
Yeah.
And,
Yep. Oh, and then they have the most awkward kiss ever. She's just like,
I thought,
okay.
When he kissed her on the head, it's like, okay, he gets it. And then he does this, and I'm like, didn't we already have this talk, Lord Baelish?
But he keeps promising her the north. Jorah and Tyrion travel. That's all I have. They travel.
Yeah, Bronn and Jamie are rowing in a boat. They kill some Dornishmen. The Snan Stakes are doing the thing.
I'm writing it down later because I can't see the note now, but I did write down the note that the road to Volantis is no better than the road. I mean, the road to Volantis is no better than the road to Valyria.
Yeah.
Or the road to Marine. I'm like, oh god.
They're not on a road. They're in a boat.
I also
It's a metaphor.
I do like where Tyrion just like fucking calls it. Like calls the Jorah shot. Through and through, he's like, all right, so you got Dragon and Bears, you're Jorah Mormont, why are you here? She exiled you because you were spying. It's like, fuck. Got it in one. Like, one big one, all of it.
Like, you have 3 guesses, and the first 2 don't count.
Yep. All right, and then we have, so the last epic scene, Dany and Barristan have a sweet conversation. Again, I was like, why is... What?
Well, we forgot Jaime had a fight and learns how to use his golden hand.
Yeah,
I said they kill a bunch of Dornish.
Everything's fine.
I must okay.
Anyway, no, but Danny and Barristan...
That's literally all I said. Was
he had a sweet, poignant monologue, and was like, oh god, something bad is about to happen.
Yeah, and will Danny learn anything from Rhaegar's humanity?
Yeah. See, that, I don't have that skill. Like, I'm not attuned to the, something nice is happening, so something bad will happen soon to that character. So it always just fucks me up.
When it's
I
sort
totally forgot this was when they killed him.
Yeah.
Well, when it's this, like, kind of uncharacteristic thing, like, for Stannis, or Barristan, I mean, yeah, he's a good guy, but, you know, he never monologues about the past, and, oh, yes,
good times.
He used to go sing songs and such. I was like, oh, because then she's like,
Sing
go, Sir Barristan, sing a song for me. Or like, oh, God, where's he going? Where's he going?
He gonna die.
And I have to say, the Unsullied, supposed to be these great warriors. I mean, everyone says, oh, it was close quarters. They're meant to be a battle in the field, blah, blah, blah. But I'm like, they got butchered.
They got fucked up.
They did. I mean, well, also, I mean, I wonder, like, as far as, like, you know, spears are their weapon of choice. Like, how good is a spear?
Yeah, I mean, that's what people talked about.
Close quarters,
it's still, it's just kind of like, okay.
They have to have daggers, too. Like, you would think.
They should have.
Yeah, well, anyway.
I don't know, but...
they were taken unawares.
I mean, Grey Worm fought very well. Barristan... Sure, he got killed, but he took fucking everyone down with him.
So what I really liked in this scene, and it should not have been what I was focusing on, but it was, is when Barristan shows up and everyone surrounds him, Grey Worm's still in the back fighting a couple dudes, and it is just clearly they're like, all right, strike left, right, go. Just like, there's zero effort in it. It is just like... in the background, like Barristan's having this epic fight, and then in the background there's just like two harpies and Grey Worm just kind of. We did it. Episode 5.
Episode 5.
Kill the boy.
I didn't watch this one, so.
Oh.
Okay. Well.
I took a nap instead. Sorry, guys.
We'll fight over what to talk about.
Yeah. So, Daenerys is all upset that she lost her Barristan, and then she's like, what do I do next? What do I do now? And finally she takes Dario's suggestion to use her frickin' dragons. Right. So she gathers up the leaders of all the great families and takes them down to the dragons. Which
huge.
Yes, which I want to say bravo to the visual effects people, because like I know the dragons are full on CGI, but like the way they have like the light reflecting off of them in the dark is like, they look so real. They look so great. And
go ahead.
Yeah. Good? Oh, and pretty much all of the fire, all the dragon fire, for the most part, is like practical on set when that happens. The fire is not CGI, just the dragons. So anyway, go ahead. That's real fire.
And so, Chris, you know, one of the things I'm keep track of.
You got this. As he looks at his drink.
Don't understand.
Is, you know, it's just telling you, why does Barristan die early in the show? Because he's still alive in the books.
Is he?
Yeah.
Did he not die in this fight? I thought one of them died in this fight.
Well, maybe Grey Worm, because I don't...
No, I thought Barristan died in this fight.
No, because he's still around when Dany is gone. And here's the thing. Tyrion isn't around yet in the books. Tyrion hasn't met Dany in the books.
Tyrion hasn't met Dany in the show.
Yeah, but he will in time for that. When she goes riding off on Drogon, he's there to kind of like take over for her. Barristan does it in the books. And so, my point being, let me finish my point, and then you can question whether I have any business saying it.
I question!
Is that, I think that's just it, is they're shortcutting a lot of Tyrion's journey to get him to Dany, and he's going to take Barristan's place early.
I really thought,
as well.
I thought I remembered this being one of the other chapters where it ended, and I thought both of them were dead.
Yeah, see,
I don't remember this fight in the books.
When Quentin goes down and thinks he can take over the dragons and gets burned to a crisp,
maybe I don't remember.
Barristan's all around for that.
Maybe I don't remember any of this shit. That's fine.
Okay. Are you done with your point?
Yeah. So my point is like, I think Barristan...
No.
Are you done?
Barristan is killed early because Tyrion is going to get to Dany faster and fulfill the role that he was playing in the books at this time.
I'll buy that.
Yes, I think that too. But also, I think by killing him off here it sort of spurs Danny into action.
Yeah, no, they definitely. I mean, they definitely use it, to move her on.
I mean, okay.
Okay.
So then we have, Maester Aemon is talking to Sam. Talking about, okay, again, this is where all our theories were like, is it him? Is it him? Maester Aemon was saying a Targaryen alone in the world is a terrible thing. And then it cuts to Jon walking through the door. And Jon talks to the Maester, and, Jon's like, I have this thing I want to do, but the men aren't going to like me if I do it. And Maester Aemon's like, you're the freaking Lord Commander. You do what you got to do. And he says to kill the boy and let the man be born. Which is also...
Kill the boy, drink.
Which is...
Was Ollie gonna die soon?
Not soon enough.
Damn it.
Which is, I think, was kind of foreshadowing right there. That kill the boy and let the man be born. Anywho.
Yeah,
John,
and, I also... Maybe just a side note is as important as the choker. Aemon gets a message talking about Danny.
Oh yeah, and it was like a descriptive message.
Yeah, it was like she's besieged from all sides and blah. I'm like, it's like she's getting updates on how things are going for his little niece. Who's sending him that?
Well, I think by now, word is spreading all over the world. Because you have like the Red Priestesses, like talk what?
Well, yes, but it wasn't like he just like he didn't turn on, Essos, CNN. Someone sent him a message.
I know, but
also, like the tone of that message was almost like kind.
Yeah.
Like it was like she's doing this and she's like trying to do a good job, like
She's doing her best.
Yeah.
Dear Grandpa Targaryen, cousin Danny.
So now Jon wants the wildlings to fight with them. Okay, and then this is the same thing that happened during the War of Five Kings. No one wants to make allies.
Yes.
Are we here again?
Yup. They're, the Night's Watch don't want to fight with the wildlings. The Northerners don't want to fight with the Boltons. No one wants to fight for Stannis. It's a hot mess.
Well, the Northerners are right about the Boltons.
Well, that's true. But, I heard. Okay, and then this is...
And then ghosts came into the house and we all died.
So, Jon talks to Tormund, and this is the first time he mentions Hardhome.
Yes.
Which is not something we got to read about in the book, so when that does ultimately happen...
They just say... They went over there, and what happened
They mentioned that something happened up there. Like, a lot of wildlings got killed at this place called Hardhome.
Yeah,
it was like one sentence.
It in passing, but you have no idea what happened.
And that was it. But we're not going to talk about that yet, because we're not there yet. So Jon wants to go to Hardhome to convince all the wildlings to come and fight for them, and the brothers are pissed, even though he keeps saying, look, if the wildlings die, they become part of the army of the undead, and then they come and they kill us. And nobody understands it, and then fucking Ollie comes in.
Fucking Ollie!
He's like... Please tell me it's just a trick. Please tell me that you're going to lure the wildlings here under false pretenses and massacre them.
Because Ollie's just a little prick. Like,
But my mommy and daddy died. So did everyone else's in Westeros. Sorry, I'm going to calm down.
No, we're always going to hate Ollie until he dies.
Ollie.
And then we'll watch the show again and hate him all over. Like, that's fine. It's an endless cycle.
It's like, yes, I'm sorry your mom and dad died. Like, that's tragic, but... Everyone in this show has lost someone and suffered bad things, and he's okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on.
So we have a scene with Ramsay and Miranda.
Yes, Miranda is her name.
With a Y.
And when I just feel like even with Sansa's marriage, you would think Miranda could still keep Ramsay instead of all this mean girl bullshit.
She's doing very mean girl bullshit. She's all like, I'm going to go and I'm going to find the best ways to fuck with Sansa. And the first thing she does is show her Theon. And
oh, yeah.
Well, in order to be Ramsay's best girl, she has to be batshit crazy. Like,
Yeah.
there's no way for
I
her to
mean-
be a stable person and in love with fucking Ramsay Bolton and go on dog hunts with other girls. Like,
I mean, but when you see him standing there naked, it's like, well...
I mean, I get it.
But also, at this point in their so-called relationship...
Damn sexy serial killers. Damn it.
Fuck
I know. He says to her,
Glug, glug, glug.
you don't want to bore me, do you? You know what happens to people that bore me.
Yeah.
To Miranda?
So she's
Yeah.
probably like, I've got to keep acting crazy and doing this, or I get fed to the dogs.
Acting.
Well, she knows that
That
she
bitch.
has to keep him entertained.
Enticed.
Entertained.
Um,
And I do wonder what did Miranda hope to accomplish by I mean, it seems to almost get Ramsay in trouble, and he has to get Reek in trouble. You know, that's because I guess he's been hiding from Sansa.
Well, because we got in the last
And
episode.
not
he
just
passed.
because-
In
Well,
one of
it's
the
like she
earlier
passed
episodes,
by
yeah,
him.
she passed and he like.
Right,
And
but that seemed like it was him not wanting to be recognized. But apparently, when he also Ramsay didn't want him to be recognized because we finally Sansa saw me. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. So
I mean-
obviously, it wasn't just him being embarrassed and being dishonored. It was Ramsay involved too.
Got it. And then they had that awkward ass dinner where Rem's like, "Come here, Reek. Let me parade you in front of Sansa. Let me make a fucking fool of myself." And yet Roose does nothing to stop it. He just kind of
Yeah.
sits there and he's like,
Well, and I think he does that because he plans to drop his own bomb
Oh.
on Ramsay because
gosh.
he still thinks he can control Ramsay. So I think he
Bruce does.
Roose does.
Yeah.
Because he drops the baby.
No, he doesn't drop the baby. He announces that they're
On
going
Ramsay. No!
He announces that Walda's pregnant. I love that Ramsay has one. Well, how did you do it? And it's like, I'm sure you're familiar with the process.
Okay. Anyway, this is where I wrote the road to Marine is no better than the road to Valentis.
Okay, well, we're still in that. Hold on.
We're not there yet.
Oh, well, we haven't finished this yet. I'm sorry.
Well, no, because I'm talking about Roose and Ramsay and how.
How what, Mark? How what?
I don't
What are
know.
we
The road to
talking about?
Volantis interrupted my train of thought.
Well, we're talking about Roose. That
It's-
Roose dropped
well-
the baby on Ramsay.
Well, no, it's that Roose is kind of foolish to not have seen what's coming. It's like
Again, I think everyone is understanding.
understanding. Yeah. I mean, but he does say. But I think it's also because Roose says now why he needs Ramsay's help for this because he has his own army. He's like, I need your help to bring down Stannis. And then it
I
cuts
don't
to Stannis and Sam. They're discussing the undead, and this first time he mentions, "Oh, we have dragon glass on Dragonstone."
Oh, right. Like offhandedly. Oh, that's all over the place.
Yeah.
Did everyone? Can I just interrupt? Did everyone see that joke I sent where it was Danny being like, "A dragon ass, I got you." A dragon glass. I have that too. That brought me joy. I got that for you all night. Oh no.
Oh.
Okay, just kidding.
Davos is pleading with Stannis to not take Shireen into battle. But he's already made his decision. He says it's for their safety to bring them with him. No, I kind of think he's already made his decision.
Stannis already knows this is happening.
Yeah. Well, see, and then her mother comes up and she's all like, "Davos, how dare you talk to my daughter about battle?"
I
It's
almost wonder, so going backwards, because he did say, you're the princess and you're, your place is beside me. So I wonder if that was even, him being kind in order to kind of soften her up for the fact that he was going to kill her. When they had their, cute moment, sweet moment, that was the last thing he said, is you're the princess and your place is beside me, or with me. And so, forever, I guess, in spirit, in literal spirit, because you'll be dead.
Yep. And then they all march off to Winterfell. None of them will return. Well, Davos and Melisandre, spoiler, Davos and Melisandre are going to be the only ones to return out of everyone that marched
cuts out
through.
early.
Yeah.
Well, Davos comes back because, never mind. We'll get there
Yeah.
next week. So Daenerys, then we go back to Daenerys. She has decided that, perhaps I should embrace some of the Myronese traditions. She decides that she will reopen the fighting pits, but to freedmen only. Only people who want to fight will fight. And then she also decides to marry a Myronese highborn.
Isdar, right?
Yeah, Isdar Zolorak, something like that.
Right. Isdar Zolorak.
Yeah, I mean, thank God she doesn't actually, in the book, she does actually marry him, but luckily we don't get there yet.
There was one, and I don't remember when it was, but there was in one of these episodes, there was one moment where, like, Dario came, it was after Barristan had his nice moment with her, and they were like, Isdar is here. And she was like, Barristan, are you coming? He was like, do you need me to defend you against him? And Dario was like, yeah, do you need him? I was like, I could defend myself against that man. Like, just like, what a pansy. But yeah, I just thought that was fun.
Yes. Oh, and then we have Jorah and Tyrion sail through Valyria. Which,
is this when they go through the Stonemen?
Yeah.
Yes, which...
Stonemen are exiled to Valyria.
Here's what they did. This kind of... I didn't quite like the way that they did this because what... They actually, number one, I don't think that's what Valyria should look like. It doesn't look like the Doom is still on Valyria. It just looks like ruins with a little bit of fog. But actually what they are taking, the descript...
So what is the Doom?
The Doom of Valyria was when, like, in a single day, pretty much, like, the land split asunder, all of the volcanoes in the land erupted at once, and just, like, fire opened up, and, like, it rained... dragon glass and blood from the sky, and the fires were so hot that even the dragons in the sky burned, and pretty much like the land just like consumed in fire the entire land of Valyria.
Why?
No one knows why. Some say it was a natural cataclysm. Others say that, they dug too deeply and opened up the gateway to hell. Some say the Valyrians just got too big for their britches, and the gods were like, no, back down.
Spite you.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
But what they actually did was they took a chapter from the books of Tyrion traveling down the Rhoyne, which is the big river, through Essos, and they sailed through the city. It was, it was like the Palace of Sorrow.
Right.
Which, that was one of my favorite chapters in the book, the description of this great palace that they sailed through. But... Anyway, I could keep going on and on about that, but I don't think that's what Valyria should look like.
You think it's too nice there?
Yeah, it's too nice there because when they describe it in the books of like the pirates that sail past Valyria, they say they can still see like the fires burning, like the volcanoes are like still erupting, like
smoldering.
Yeah, like no one can go to this land, and so it was kind of like, oh well, that just looks like. Anyway. And then Tyrion sees a dragon for the first time in his life. And
it's Drogon.
Yeah,
right?
it is Drogon. No, it's the other secret dragon.
I don't fucking know.
Secret dragon, spoiler
no,
alert.
Yes, no, that is Drogon. See, but I kind of wish, like, that... It's like they didn't say anything. They just, like, silently look up. And I feel like Jorah would have been like, that's Drogon. I mean...
Hey, buddy!
Well, Jorah wasn't talking a lot.
I know, but, it was kind of like, he should have, I mean, I don't know. I feel like they should have had a little more words.
He might have been like, what the fuck is he doing out here?
Yeah. I mean, because Jorah was there.
That would have been good had it just been, like, awestruck Tyrion cut to concerned Jorah.
Yeah, Jorah's like, why is Drogon here? Anyway, and then, they didn't really have time to speak about it because at that moment, one of the stone men, like, jumped into the water and attacks them.
Oh, yeah.
And Tyrion almost drowns. Now, exactly how he got pulled down, passed out, and then Jorah just, like, fought over
were his hands not tied?
Yeah, his hands were tied.
Yeah. His hands were tied until Jorah rescued him. And instead of, is Jorah looking at Marine? Is that Marine in the distance?
No, he was looking back at Valyria.
Okay.
Which, how they suddenly don't have a boat now. So how Jorah got Tyrion from there to there across the water without the boat. It's a little confusing. And then we find out that Jorah
they both
has the
passed
grace
out
skill.
and Drogon just whoop, boom.
I would have liked to have seen that.
Yeah.
And then this is where we began a drinking game of drink every time Jorah looks at his wrist.
Yes, looks at his.
That's all he does from now on. He just keeps looking. He's like, oh shit, it's spreading.
Brings my age-old question: why do we have grayscale?
I think you're thinking too much into it. They were trying to because
Good. That was a very good point. Well made, Mark.
I'm so witty and smart.
It's the measles of Game of Thrones.
Oh God!
Yeah.
Listen.
Yeah. So who are the anti-vaxxers?
Actually, no. We decided we're not calling them anti-vaxxers now. We're calling them pro-plague people.
Pro-plagues.
Pro-plagues.
Okay, so
And that was the end of episode 5.
So
We did it.
So the next time you see us, I guess we'll be doing the second half of season 5. We just have no idea when we're going to do that.
Maybe Tuesday.
I mean, if we want to do Tuesday, I think I can do it Tuesday.
Wait, what happened to Monday?
Monday we're going to go see Gone with the
Gone
Wind.
with the Wind.
Oh, are we doing that?
Yeah.
Oh. I don't. They've been throwing so many ideas around. I think my response was, I will just follow whatever y'all do.
Yes, it was. It was.
Yeah, it
Yes.
was.
Great movie, great show, great whatever. I'm good.
I'm fine. So we're doing Rodeo, Gone with the Wind, Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones.
What a day! Like,
All of the things.
Okay, so that means that I'm Andrew.
Oh, has Audie been sitting there saying lots of things?
just a little bit.
and-
She said she'd
she's still
take
there.
Tormund over
Vaccinating
Jamie
children against
Hayden.
grayscale.
Yeah.
She says, Grey Worm is trying his damn best, and thus begins the long saga of Jorah checking his arm. See? Yes.
Vaccinate your children
And
against grayscale.
Vaccinate your children against grayscale.
Shireen, let Shireen be the face of these vaccinations.
Well,
For now.
for now.
Or smoldering coals.
Yeah.
Oh.
I swear she had grayscale. She didn't need to have that before she was burned alive, which also was not necessary, but what are you going to do? All right, we good?
Yeah,
All right,
I think
so
we're
that's the
good.
drunk watch.
And now
Now
our
our
talk
talk
has
has
ended.
Everybody.
Less than 90 minutes. We killed it.
Well,